The decision largely supports prohibition. Let's go. Okay.
Prostitution!
Employees of Linus Tech Tips, indisputably one of the most influential tech channels on YouTube, recently got to experience the feeling of their CEO literally burning down their company in real time. Thankfully, it was a misunderstanding, but his co-host and CTO, Luke, was left wide-eyed and confused as he interrupted Linus and asked him to explain exactly what Linus thought the term hard R meant. We'll leave a link pinned in the comments down in the basement. Watch it for yourself. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders recently signed HB 1410, or the Youth Hiring Act of 2023, into law. This law means that teens under 16 will no longer need a work permit through the Arkansas Department of Labor and Licensing before they can start a job. Advocates were quick to voice their concerns that the move makes it easier for businesses to violate child labor practices and will only increase in the amount of employers exploiting disadvantaged children. Across the aisle, Republicans argue that permits amount to a century of wasting time with red tape. Others question why the work permit is needed at all if it's not shown to prevent employers from violating child labor laws, and if requiring a government-issued permit undermines parental rights. Both federal and state laws govern child labor, and in Arkansas, it's legal to hire anyone aged 14 and up, with restrictions on the hours they can work and what jobs they can take. Teens 16 and up do not need a permit for employment, but for those aged 14 to 15, the rules are more restrictive, including how late they can work. Tyson announced yesterday that they'll be closing 2 processing plants, one in Virginia and one in Arkansas later this year. The current scale and inability to economically improve operations has led to the difficult decision to close the facilities, Tyson said. This is despite the fact that they were buying chicken from other processing plants to make up for their shortages they claimed were due to labor, amongst other things. Tyson is most recently known for its connection to Packer Sanitation Services, Inc., the company that was recently fined $1.5 million for hiring children to use chemicals that would make Roundup blush on Sharpie stabby things.
It's because they have those small, nimble hands that really get the job done.
And because influencers love chasing trends, Mr. Beast set Twitter ablaze last week by judiciously asking his fans to clean up the displays of his new chocolate brand, Feastables. Some took issue with the fact that he'd asked his fan base, who are largely children, to work for free, while others lamented on the idea that they too could accomplish anything with a follower base 4 times the size of California. Unsurprisingly, hordes of his fans ran to Walmart to clean up the shelves, leaving before and after photos and videos in response to his original tweet. What I want to see is the behind-the-scenes video of teens power slamming those chocolate displays before cleaning them up so they can collect that sweet, sweet internet karma. In response to this criticism, Mr. Beast, well, what else would he do? He donated to charity. The big lesson from all this is probably not to make chocolate thinner than the air in Everest if you expect it to survive vertical packaging. Food delivery and ride-hailing services like Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash found out what $200 million in campaigning will buy them. The California Appeals Court ruled that their delivery services can, in fact, consider their drivers as independent contractors. The decision largely supports Proposition 22, a voter-approved law that states that drivers for firms like Uber and Lyft are independent contractors who are not eligible for benefits like paid sick leave and unemployment insurance. The ruling is a setback for labor unions and their allies, the state legislature, who approved a law in 2019 requiring these companies to treat their drivers as employees. However, the court ruled that companies could not prevent their drivers from joining a labor union and collectively bargaining for better working conditions. The FTC recently extended their session for public comment concerning their new rule banning employers from using non-compete clauses on most workers. The potential ruling was undoubtedly met with gasps and the sounds of pearls being clutched by CEOs around the U.S.
It looks like indentured servitude's the only hill they've got left.
Because the whole pay for your trading if you quit thing? Those assholes. The FTC estimates the proposed rule would increase wages by nearly $300 billion per year and expand career opportunities to up to 30 million Americans. In a statement by the FTC, the freedom to change jobs is core to economic liberty and to a competitive, thriving economy, said Chair Lena M. Khan. Non-competes block workers from freely switching jobs, depriving them of higher wages and better working conditions, and depriving businesses of talent pool they need to build and expand. By ending this practice, the FTC's proposed rule would promote greater dynamism, innovation, and healthy competition. I'm not going to waste your time with news about SVB. All I'm going to say is go into Twitter and search the hashtag SVB and enjoy. One of my favorites today is Petro Sciarano's use of Bing AI to explain the bank's collapse in monkey banana terms. This video is brought to you by our Facebook group. If you like HR books or other literature, we'd love to have you join. A book I highly recommend checking out is The Culture Code: The Secrets of Highly Successful Groups by Daniel Coyle. After sobering up to the idea that alcohol does not, in fact, improve every group, I was intrigued by the idea that kindergartners work better together than the SEAL Team 6, NBA teams, medical professionals, MIT grads, and my parents' marriage. We'll be giving away 3 copies of the book this month in our Facebook group, so join if you're interested. Apparently, I held a mug in the same position the entire time during the last water cooler conversation of the day. I don't know what to do with my hands. In case you haven't heard enough about weird things flying around the night sky that aren't your Uncle Willie's doing his best to recreate the Drunk Squirrel space program, Russia just downed a U.S. drone over the Black Sea. The Russian jet apparently accomplished this by peeing fuel on its face.
That's a remix to ignition if I've ever heard one.
And then colliding with the propeller of the unmanned drone. Earlier this month, the Inspector General of Massachusetts released a report providing insight and suggestions for the state police to prevent their officers from stealing from taxpayers. The move comes after a scathing scandal that was discovered back in 2019, where a now disbanded unit was caught taking taxpayer money for overtime they never worked. Based on the 2022 audit, the inspector's office found at least 8% of all overtime last year was taken during their normally scheduled shifts. However, based on their example, it seems most of the shifts were closely scheduled together instead of completely overlapped. These gaps were covered by personal leave or vacation time to prevent officers from being paid for 2 shifts concurrently. CNN's Christy Lou Stout released a report on CNN documenting how human traffickers are using job listings to enslave educated job seekers into becoming cyber criminals. Check the links below in the comments. Scientists apparently woke up to a zombie virus that has spent the last 48,000 years stuck in permafrost. According to scientists, the Arctic's melting permafrost could release ancient viruses that have remained dormant for tens of thousands of years. The permafrost covers a fifth of the northern hemisphere and preserves the remains of extinct animals, along with the virus's chemical and radioactive waste dating back to the Cold War could also be released during the thaws. The Arctic is warming up to 4 times faster than the rest of the planet, weakening the top layer of permafrost, putting ancient viruses at risk of being revived. Come back Friday for more HR news, and who knows, maybe there won't be any companies screwing over their employees.
Actually, there's this company in Georgia that fired all their old employees and fired the HR manager who tried to tell them it was illegal.
They did what?